If you're tired of putting out podcasts and not seeing your download numbers actually grow, just a bunch of ebbs and flows, then you're going to want to pay attention to this video because I'm going to give you 3 tips on how to quickly grow your downloads and hit that 10,000 downloads per month mark. Let's get to it. What's cracking? Zachary Babcock here with UnderdogEmpowerment.com. Now look, dude, when I first started trying to grow my downloads, I suffered for a year, just seeing a bunch of ebbs and flows, no growth at all. And this was really, it was pissing me off, to be quite honest with you. But I'm gonna share with you something that's not probably what you're thinking. It's not about sharing it on social media. Not saying that you shouldn't, but we're gonna get in that into just a moment. But I was pissed off. And then after a year, I started getting outside of the box. And then I finally started seeing my download numbers to grow well over 10,000 per month. And that's what I'm gonna share with you right now. So let's get into it. Yo, and if you stick with me, I'm also going to show you how to never run out of content topics again and how to make some money from your podcast. Let's get into this. All right, first up is guest podcasting. This is where you go on other podcasts and you promote your own podcasts while you're on that podcast. Now, this works really well. This works way better than just sharing your podcast on social media. The reason why is because you're going on another podcast that has people listening to that podcast, which means those people are proof of concept that they actually listen to podcasts. And if they like what you had to say on that podcast and you plug yours, then they'll come check out yours as well. Now, the key here is to actually go on podcasts that resonate with what you talk about on your show. So for an example, if your podcast is about entrepreneurship and building a business, it probably wouldn't make sense for you to go on a sports talk podcast. There would be no alignment. Some people on that podcast might come on over, but you'd be way better off to going on a podcast where they're talking about marketing or talking about some other aspect of building a business. So you want to find podcasts that align with yours, hit up the host, say, hey man, love to come on your podcast. I can talk about whatever it is that I can talk about. Let me know if we'd be a good fit. And then you wait for the response. When they make it happen, you go ahead and go on that podcast. You kill the interview, you be yourself, and make sure you plug your podcast in the process. And I promise you do that alone, you're going to see huge growth numbers in and of itself. All right, real quick before we move on to the other 2 growth strategies on how to get to 10,000 downloads per month. If you want to get a hot knife and cut straight through the butter and know how to grow your downloads super fast, interview celebrities, make money from your podcast, and get ranked on Apple, make sure you check out my next workshop. I'm going to link that up in the description below and go register for that right after this video. All right, next up on how to quickly get to 10,000 downloads or more per month. This is called podcast tours. It's the same thing as guest podcasting, but you're going on a podcast tour where you're going to knock out a whole bunch of different podcasts in like a week's worth of time or maybe even one day. And this works really well after you already start to build up your brand, after you've already started interviewing celebrities, getting ranked, and got a lot of people already talking about you. You could do it in the beginning. It's going to be hard to fill up your calendar, harder than what it would be is after you get your brand going, but definitely go ahead and put it out there. Start posting on social media, kind of like you just seen, where you're saying, hey, I've got these slots available. I want to go on these podcasts. I'm going to talk about this topic, anything from this to this or anything in between. Let me know if it'd be a good fit and we'll get it booked on schedule. And what that does is when all those podcasts get you on there and they start releasing at the same time, you've got a bunch of different traffic sources, podcasts, all pointing back to your podcast. All right, before we get into the last tip on how to grow your podcast really fast, this is really important right here, dude. If you're getting people coming to check out your podcast, right, but you really suck at keeping them listening to your podcast, you're not going to hold them. They're not going to stay around. They're not going to be lifelong listeners. And that's what you want. That's what you're trying to build here. You're not trying to put in all this hard effort of going on all these podcasts and doing what I'm getting ready to show you next in this next strategy just to lose them. So what I highly would recommend is to check out this video on 3 tips on how to keep your people listening to you throughout your entire podcast episode. All right, our third tip today, this is for if you really want to move fast. This is for when you got things rocking and rolling and you're looking for ways to be more efficient and maximize your time, and that is by doing it with paid ads. Here's what I like to do with paid ads. There's a bunch of different ways you can do it. Let's say that you lock in some interviews with some really well-known people in your space, some celebrity type guests, and you get to lock in those interviews and you get to record it on Zoom or Skype, or even better, if you can go make it happen in person like I've done with a lot of my guests on my show. You had that recording, now you can advertise that entire interview and make it not even look like an ad, and you can advertise that entire interview to people that you target on Facebook, let's say, for an example, and people that watch a percentage of that video, like 10% of this 40-minute interview, that's like 7 or 8 minutes, give or take, somewhere around there. Then you can hit them with a retargeting ad that's going to upsell them or have them go opt into one of your lead magnets to buy something for you. So now you're killing 2 birds with 1 stone, and the whole entire campaign is not even trying to grow the downloads because you can't really track that all the way, because once they get to Apple, the pixel is gone. You can't tell if they actually subscribed or whatnot. You can't get the full data on that, but you can look at your downloads numbers and kind of guess and see if it's working or not. So the whole campaign objective is to actually sell your own products and services, and you're killing 2 birds at 1 stone because you're doing brand awareness for your podcast and growing it at the same time. time. That's what we like to do with our podcast. As promised, I'm gonna show you how to actually make some money from your podcast. I'm gonna show you how to also never to run out of podcast topics again, so you can constantly make content, because that's the name of the game here. So first off, make sure you check out this video right here. This is gonna show you how to make some money from your podcast. 7 different ways. There's no cookie cutter model. It's all really gonna depend on your brand and your business and your goals, quite frankly. So make sure you check that out. Secondly, before we get into the end here, before we wrap up, make sure you hit subscribe and tap the bell notifications. That way you continue to get updates every time this channel goes live, if you want the best updates on how to market your podcast and dominate, build a celebrity brand and explosive business with your Top Shelf podcast. Finally, if you never want to run out of podcast topics again, there's literally 3 simple strategies that I use that I'm teaching in this video right here, and you will have a never-ending flow of content ideas at all times. Go check it out. I'll see you on the next video. Peace!